We've got big changes on the way, and I think that's going to mean significant differences in where our severe weather is as we head into June now that May is about to wrap up. And I'll tell you what, some of the storms could be on the strong side. It's still way too early to track any particular storm in any particular area, but with this setup, one has to wonder as we head at least through the first week of June and second week of June. And we've not had our lack of severe weather in May, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Look at these severe weather reports today. The 30th, our tornado report now up to 517, way above what we saw last year. Our wind damage reports, or severe wind, 3,679 and 1,779 reports of severe hail, and a lot of that was over Texas just over the last couple of days. Compare that with last year, significantly lower, not even 200 tornadoes reported. So we're more than double the reports of tornadoes, and we've got one more day to go. And I think we'll add to that, unfortunately. We've got this wind here in the upper levels, right around 18,000 feet. I guess that's really more of a mid-level here, but we've got this trough and this piece of energy moving through, some vorticity. So your winds across Oklahoma coming out of the west around 5 o'clock at 18,000, and then look, they veer off to the northeast out into parts of Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's in the mid-levels. At the surface, we've got a strong low-level jet starting to scream in out of the south-southeast. That's going to bring in a lot of Gulf moisture. So if your winds are coming in like this out of the south at the lower levels, in the upper levels or mid-levels, you've got your winds coming in like this. What happens? Wind shear. You get that change of wind direction with height, and those thunderstorms want to rotate. Boom, there you go. The Storm Prediction Center highlighting that very area. So Arkansas down into Louisiana, Mississippi as far east as maybe Starkville, and as far north as into parts of Missouri possibly, and as far east, I think even over to Jackson, you need to watch these storms tomorrow night. And then across South Texas, there could be a few storms that spin up and drop a few tornadoes too. Stronger storms also possible across parts of Colorado with hail and some wind damage. We can't rule out a tornado really in anywhere in this area, especially if they pulse up and they get strong enough. But the main threat for tornadoes, as I just showed you, would be here. So storms overnight, moving through Texas, some heavy rain possible from Dallas all the way down to Houston, some gusty winds possible with these. These could get a little strong too with some hail, maybe even some damaging winds, and if some of them could be on the severe side too. But the big tornado risk on Friday will be back here into Arkansas as that vorticity moves through and that shear starts to pick up, and then we start to calm down from the severe weather threat early Saturday, and that rain now moving east. And that rain continues to shift off toward the Great Lakes into the northeast as we head into early Sunday morning. So now we're looking at rain from the Tennessee Valley north up into the eastern Great Lakes, and then as we head into Sunday, severe weather now possible here across the northern plains as we see our next piece of energy come through. On Saturday, the severe risk will be here with the highest risk across parts of Colorado, Kansas, even into Nebraska. But check this out. Sunday, a new area. This is the long-range outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. The Day 4 outlook, that would be Sunday, highlighting parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, back into even, I think, the Dakotas and Iowa, potentially even down into Nebraska. We could see some strong to severe storms as that next system rolls through. That will continue to push off toward the Great Lakes, and then we see our weather pattern start to change, especially by the end of next week as this big ridge in the upper level starts to build. Everything that starts to form, especially storm-wise up here, will try to drop in from the northwest. Now, what's interesting is this cold pool that's trying to develop here across the southeast. Does that happen? I don't know that it does, but what I find interesting and a little bit concerning would be this here across the Gulf. If we start to see some ridging happening, this is climatologically the favorite area for hurricanes or tropical systems to start to spin up as we head into June. Something to keep an eye on, especially as we get toward the middle part of the month. And as we head into June, it's going to start to get hot in some areas, especially I think across the west. Near to below normal temperatures here as we start to see that trough across the east and also across the central United States. And look, that threat, at least of some cooler or below normal temperatures, is starting to increase here as we head into the 7th through the 13th from the Climate Prediction Center. And this outlook's a little bit old, but it's kind of sort of following maybe that setup that we're starting to see with that ridge starting to develop across the west. I always take these seasonal temperature outlooks with a grain of salt. I still think we have plenty of hot days across the country through the summer, and I do think it's going to be an active hurricane season, as unfortunate as that is sounding, especially with La Nina starting to take over, El Nino weakening. That means the mid-level winds will start to back off, and unfortunately that reduces the shear and increases the chances for hurricanes across the tropics. All right, if you made it this far, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and come back. I hope it means you like what you're seeing here and it's helpful for you. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed. We just blew through 7,000 subscribers, absolutely blowing my mind. So come back and see me, subscribe, get those notifications. Thanks for watching. Drop me a comment comment down below. I'm not asking you to do all these things, but I always love hearing from you guys too. And I will see you next time right here.